Have you ever found yourself saying yes when every cell of your body wanted to say no? Have you agreed to favors that left you drained, swallowed words you wished you could speak, or tolerated behavior that quietly eroded your self-respect? If so, you're not alone. Most of us were never taught how to set boundaries that actually stick. We were told to be kind, agreeable, and accommodating, but not how to protect our time, energy, and emotional health. Yet here's the truth that can change your life. Clear boundaries are not walls of rejection. They are doors of respect. Without them, you cannot have healthy relationships, and you cannot live in alignment with your own values. In this video, we're diving deep into the psychology of boundaries and, more importantly, the actual scripts that work in real life. By the end, you'll have phrases you can use immediately to protect your space without guilt or drama. Think back to the last time someone crossed a line with you. Maybe a colleague kept dumping extra work on your desk, or a friend repeatedly called you at midnight to vent. You felt irritated, maybe resentful, but unsure how to respond. You tried hinting. You tried being extra nice. You hoped they'd get it, but they didn't. Why? Because unclear communication invites repeated violations. Human beings, even well-meaning ones, test limits unconsciously. This is why healthy boundaries require clarity. A clear boundary tells others where you end and they begin. It's not about controlling them. It's about directing yourself. Psychologists describe boundaries as invisible property lines around our emotional and physical space. Just as a fence shows where one yard stops and another begins, a boundary communicates where your responsibility ends and another's begins. Without these markers, relationships blur. You might overfunction for others or tolerate mistreatment because you fear conflict. But here's the paradox. When you avoid the discomfort of saying no, you invite the much bigger pain of resentment and burnout. The first step is realizing that saying no is not cruelty, it's self-respect. Let's explore why boundaries feel so hard. Many of us grew up equating them with selfishness. We learned to earn love by being compliant or helpful. In adulthood, this conditioning shows up as people-pleasing. You agree to watch someone's kids even though you're exhausted. You say yes to overtime when you're already overloaded. You smile while feeling anger under the surface. The nervous system registers boundary violations as small threats, triggering stress hormones. Over time, this leads to exhaustion, anxiety, and even depression. So setting boundaries is not just a psychological skill. It's a form of self-care at the biological level. But how do you actually do it? Telling someone, "Stop doing that," can feel confrontational. This is where scripts become powerful. Scripts are pre-planned phrases that help you communicate your limits calmly and clearly. Think of them as training wheels for your assertiveness. The first principle of an effective boundary script is brevity. Long explanations invite negotiation. Short statements communicate confidence. For example, instead of "I'm really sorry, but I have so much on my plate and I just can't possibly help you move this weekend," you simply say, "I won't be able to help you this weekend." No apology, no esa. Just a clear line. Another key principle is using I language rather than you language. "You always call me too late" can sound accusatory. "I'm unavailable for calls after 9 p.m. communicates the same limit without blame. This subtle shift lowers defensiveness and increases compliance. The goal is not to shame the other person, but to teach them how to treat you. Let's go through a few common situations. Suppose a coworker regularly interrupts you during focused work time. A weak response is passive silence or sarcastic hints. A strong boundary script could be, "I'm in the middle of something. I'll be available to talk at 3. Suppose a friend borrows money but doesn't pay it back. Instead of giving them another loan out of guilt, you say, "I'm not lending money right now." Suppose a family member makes critical comments about your life choices. Instead of arguing, you say, "I'm not open to discussing that topic." Each script is short, neutral, and firm. The more you practice, the less you'll need to rehearse. It will become your natural voice. There's also a mindset shift required. Boundaries are not requests. They're statements about what you will or won't do. People may react with surprise, anger, or guilt tripping. That's normal. You're changing the rules of engagement, and some will resist. But their reaction does not mean you're wrong. It means your new clarity is working. Over time, healthy people will adapt, and unhealthy ones may drift away. Both outcomes protect your peace. As you develop this skill, watch your internal signals. Your body is a boundary sensor. Tightness in your chest, a sinking feeling in your stomach, or sudden irritation are cues that a line is being crossed. Use those sensations as a prompt to pause and assert your limit. You might say, "I'll need to think about that to buy time before responding." Even a small pause can interrupt the automatic yes and give you space to choose. One more technique is the broken record. When someone pushes back, simply repeat your boundary calmly without adding new explanations. "I understand you're upset, but I'm not available tonight." If they keep pushing, "I'm not available tonight." This steady repetition signals that the boundary is non-negotiable. You're training them to respect your limit without escalating into conflict. As you listen to these examples, notice how different it feels from the usual people-pleasing pattern. Imagine yourself delivering these lines with a relaxed tone, not defensive but grounded. This is the posture of self-ownership. It may feel awkward at first, but confidence grows through practice. Every time you uphold a boundary, you reinforce your self-worth. You teach yourself and others that your time and energy matter. Boundaries are not barriers to connection. They're the scaffolding of authentic relationships. When you know where you stand, you can meet others from a place of freedom, not obligation. Once you've begun practicing boundaries in low-stakes situations, you can expand to more challenging ones. Start with small no's. Decline an invitation when you're tired. Turn off your phone after a certain hour, or tell someone you'll get back to them tomorrow. Each small act is like a push-up for your assertiveness muscle. As your confidence grows, you'll be ready for bigger boundary conversations, like negotiating workload with a boss or redefining dynamics in a long-term relationship. Think of it as gradual exposure therapy for your nervous system. The more you rehearse, the calmer your body feels during the moment of truth. It's also essential to anticipate emotional backlash. When you set a new boundary, people may react in 3 common ways: surprise, testing, and manipulation. Surprise is normal. They're adjusting to your new behavior. Testing happens when someone tries to see if you're serious. Manipulation is when they guilt trip you, sulk, or use past favors against you. Understanding these patterns keeps you from internalizing them as proof you're wrong. Instead, you see them as signals to stay firm. Calm repetition, steady tone, and minimal explanation are your allies here. Sometimes you'll encounter relationships where the other person refuses to honor your limits. This is painful but clarifying. A boundary without consequence is just a wish. In these cases, you may need to enforce consequences. That could mean leaving a room, ending a phone call, or stepping back from the relationship entirely. Remember, you can't control someone else's behavior. You can only control your participation in it. Protecting your peace is not cruelty, it's wisdom. Another powerful practice is boundary maintenance. Many people think setting a boundary is a one-time event, but it's more like tending a garden. You water, prune, and reinforce it regularly. Check in with yourself. Are you upholding the limits you set? Are you slipping back into old patterns because of guilt or fatigue? Self-reflection and self-compassion are crucial here. Instead of shaming yourself for slip-ups, simply reset. Each moment is a chance to realign. Let's look at some advanced scripts that can transform high-stakes conversations. When someone criticizes you harshly, try, "I'm willing to discuss solutions, but not under criticism." When a friend pressures you into plans you don't want, say, "Thank you for thinking of me, but I'm choosing to rest tonight." When a family member digs into sensitive topics, respond, I'm not open to discussing that. Please respect my choice. Each of these scripts is polite yet firm, blending respect for the other person with self-respect. Boundaries also apply internally. You may need to set limits on your own habits that drain your energy. Overwork, doom scrolling, or compulsive helping. Internal boundaries sound like, I'm stopping work at 6. I'm limiting social media to 15 minutes. I'm not offering advice unless asked. These self-imposed scripts cultivate discipline and free your time for what matters most. In this sense, boundaries are not just about others, but about mastering yourself. As you practice these skills, notice the transformation in your relationships. People who value you will adjust. They may even respect you more because clear boundaries signal self-worth. You'll feel less resentment, more energy, and deeper authenticity. Your yes will mean yes, and your no will mean no. This is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself and others, the clarity of knowing where you stand. Some viewers might wonder, but what if I lose people by setting boundaries? The answer is, you may lose some, but you'll gain yourself. Healthy boundaries filter your relationships. Those who truly care about you will adapt. Those who only benefited from your lack of limits may fall away. Either way, you're left with more honest, balanced connections. That's not a loss. That's liberation. The deeper truth behind boundaries is that they're not barriers to love, but channels for it. Without them, your giving becomes resentful. With them, your giving becomes free. You stop overextending and start offering from full cup. This shift not only protects your mental health, but also models healthy behavior for those around you. Children, coworkers, friends, they all learn from your example that self-respect and kindness can coexist. Take a moment now to imagine your life with stronger boundaries. Picture yourself calmly declining what drains you and welcoming what nourishes you. Imagine having time and energy for your priorities. Imagine relationships built on mutual respect rather than silent resentment. This is not a fantasy. It's a skill you can cultivate. Every script you practice brings you closer. I'd love to hear from you. What's one boundary you've struggled to set? And what script from this video do you want to try first? Share your experience in the comments. Your story might encourage someone else who's afraid to speak up. As we wrap up, remember, boundaries are acts of self-leadership. They're not about controlling others, but about guiding yourself. Each time you uphold a boundary, you strengthen your inner authority and make space for authentic connection. This isn't about being harsh. It's about being clear, calm, and consistent. Clarity is kindness to yourself and to others. If you found this video helpful and want more insights into psychology, self-mastery, and communication skills, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Together, we can build a life where our yes is wholehearted, our no is respected, and our relationships flourish in honesty and freedom.